So in this demo, we're going to install the Python runtime from Google, or we're going to search in Google for Python and we're going to download it. So this demo is done in a virtual machine. Doesn't matter to you, you can perform any way you like in your laptop. I'll be shortly showing you instructions for Mac as well as Linux, but here I'll be following up with Windows, which is the platform I'm using for this training. We'll shortly discuss about system requirements, but before that, let's install Python in Windows. Pretty straightforward. You go to Google and search for install Python on any operating system. In this case, it's Windows. So I'm going to Google and typing download Python or install Python. All should lead to the same place. In this case, I'm mentioning Windows as well. I'm going to the download, and as you can see, this is the latest version. Probably this version is slightly different in your case. My download has completed. So I have the executable here. I'm going to run it. Now there is a couple of pop-ups will come. So I'm going to customize the features. I added the Python to the path. I'll tell you what this is. I have clicked that button. So this is my setup. You can go with the default installation as well. So it is asking me permissions. I'm going to give permissions. Probably you might have seen a black window. So the Python is getting installed. My version is 3.11.3 and it is 64-bit. Normally it is always 64-bit these days. My operating system is 64-bit. That's why I'm using 64-bit. 99% cases you will be also using 64-bit. So it'll take a little bit of time for installing Python. So once again, what we are installing Python runtime or Python interpreter. So everything is one and the same thing. In the case of Python, slightly different in different programming languages. So this software is used to create other Python application or Python code. So it understands the human readable Python code and converts into machine code. So my installation was successful. It is completed. So it'll give us this particular warning. We can ignore it for the time being. So I'm going to close this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and use the Python. So I'm going to the command prompt, which we have seen before, the shell, and going to start the program Python. So I'm going to type Python here. So this is how it looks. It's a black window at the moment. We will see more details of it later. So this is a version we have installed and we can start Python programming here. We will see a better way to do it shortly. This is just I'm testing the installation. So I'm exiting and the installation worked. So we have seen how to download and install Python in Windows. It's pretty straightforward. We download one single package and just install it like we have seen. Also, we have tested the installation using command prompt. So one thing you need to take care is that, remember I checked that path in the beginning of the installation. Default, it is not checked, but I recommend you go ahead and check it so that the Python will be in your path and you can access it the way I have accessed. So just remember to do that. I recommend it. But for that, you need to have administrator permission on your laptop, which normally you will have. So we have done this as well, testing the installation of Python. The Python command worked and we typed a very small hello world application and we exited from the Python. Now we will get into much more detail of what happened and we will explain a lot of things. So one of the major questions I get is, what if I use Mac or Linux? Mostly if you're using Linux, you would know what exactly to do. You're already an expert user normally. To install Python, you don't probably need my help. In case of Mac, mostly I'll be putting up a video how to install Python in Mac, but I don't have a Mac machine right now with me. I'm using Windows, but by the time you watch this video, I should have a Mac machine and recorded the same presentation in Mac, how to install Python in Mac. But the process is pretty straightforward. You can just read the documentation and download the executable of Python and just install it, just like I did on Windows. But Python is fully supported in Mac as well as Linux. So these two demos I will be showing you later. Yeah, if you're facing issue with Python installation, you can always reach out to me via the Q&A session or through my email right here. Now, that brings us to the bigger question. What is the system requirement for this particular course? So what do you need to follow this course? So in my case, the system requirement is on the higher side. Depends on what you're planning to do with the course as well as what is next to you. So let's have a quick look at my configuration. In my case, I have a configuration of this. So I have an 11th gen i7 with 32 GB RAM, this particular laptop, which we are seeing the presentation. And I have 1 TB hard disk as well for this laptop. So that is my configuration. I have some 2 graphics card along with it. I don't think graphics card is needed. If you're going for serious development or software development in your future, I do recommend to have some good configuration like this, at least 16 or 32, and have a good CPU like 12 or 13. Right now I think 13 is the latest. So you can have AMD Ryzen 7 or anything which is reasonably good. I recommend 16 GB RAM. Now regarding the minimum config, pretty much any laptop would do. We are not going to do any performance intensive applications in this course, but that'll really help to have some good config laptop in your future. So if you're buying a new one, get a very good config, as much as possible you can afford. I don't have any recommendation on the make of the laptop, so you can check other reviews and stuff like that. Hard disk space, I recommend at least 512 GB. For example, if you want to run a couple of virtual machines later in your projects, you can do that if you get some extra hard disks. If you're using Windows, I recommend at least 8 GB of RAM minimum. Otherwise, you may face some performance issues and you'll be struggling with a lot of things with the system itself rather than the actual problem. So 8 GB SSD, all those things are minimum requirement for this course. The laptop which I'm using for this presentation is a Surface Laptop Studio, but I don't recommend it if you're not planning to do any presentation or any drawing kind of activities. So I have whiteboarding sessions and things like that. That's why I'm using Surface Laptop Studio. It's too expensive for the price. I don't see any value in it unless you're into drawing and stuff like that. But the configuration I do recommend. So we installed Python and we discussed a little bit about the system configuration you need for this particular course.